All right, so if you guys haven't seen any typical Florida rain, this is kind of like an idea of what it looks like. Well, it actually gets heavier than this. So this is how much water is coming from the roof right now. And as you see how quick it would flood here, it's already kind of puddling out there. Good news is it moves pretty quick. If it does start to build, we've never had it come in the shop. I've had it maybe as close as the middle of that Integra right there, but that's about it. It moves pretty good. So I'll give you an idea of what is going on today. It's a super busy day. I'm driving the S2000 right now. Truck is still kind of in between builds. It's not ready to drive. This is Jeff's Integra. We showed this earlier on the channel. He likes this thing so much. I'm not sure if he's actually going to sell it, but this is like a really clean OE Integra LS. I mean, it is so nice. I would go out there and show you it, but it's pouring rain. George's car over there, there is some more coming up on that soon. Milan just dropped this car up right here. We're going to put a complete clutch package in that. The ZS6 Carbon, more coming on that. It's not here right now. Integra, we showed a video on this. This is so nice. I don't want to take it outside and get it wet. This is like beyond beautiful. So I don't want to do that right now to move cars around. This car is a past turbo car. We'll just put a transmission in it. Transmission had some problems. Now it's super sweet. So that's what is going on. So first thing, we're going to move these cars around, finish the silver one I just showed you, get that one in, do the clutch on that. I have to wash the Corvette today and get it ready. I can't do it right now because it's raining. And then we're doing a factory OEM clutch on Jeff's car. So transmission is away from the motor. As you can see, there's a lot of clutch material in there. And if you look closely there is a spring wedged in there. You can kind of see on the diaphragm, the fingers there, you see these are higher on this side. Well, I think it's that spring hanging it up there. It's just stopping the whole clutch operating, which, I mean, the clutch might have just broken on the inside. It might be just from damage, or it might be just wore out and falling apart too. But somebody's been in here before. There's a lot of telltale signs. Someone's been in there. See how dry it is. We're going to replace that slide anyway. Again, more clutch material on that shift fork right there. You see how dry it is. That really gives that clutch like a really gritty feel when you press down the pedal, because the bearing is sliding on it. So we'll take this back apart and we'll take a look. It looks like a spring from the clutch disc. There it is. It just fell apart.
It's also the non-Nietzsche bearing deal there.
That's another common problem that could have caused the whole issue. We've seen that before. Because this, oh, it's an aftermarket. Okay. So I mean, it's not. Yeah, we see these break, but even when you buy an Exetti clutch off eBay or from your favorite clutch supplier, they usually include the non-OEM bearing. Which, I mean, if you think about it, if you go to Honda, this bearing's 177 bucks. If you buy the bearing online, it's like 25. So obviously not many people want to put that much money into a bearing when the average person doesn't know the difference. But as you see, it's just cost a clutch and a clutch job. So we're changing it to an FX300. We're going to replace the parts that we've talked about. We're going to go ahead and clean all that out, clean the slide, the seal. We'll take the flywheel off. The flywheel is actually in really good shape. We'll go ahead and get that surface. Looking at it, it's an aftermarket flywheel. It's lightened. It looks like a billet flywheel, so it should be fine. Should surface out well. He has a new rubber for this slave cylinder also, and a couple of other bits and pieces he's purchased. We'll show you that as we'll put it together, and we'll get it back running like brand new. All right, so this one is done. Just took it for a quick test drive. Everything's good. We've had some fun going on today. So we had a massive rainstorm come through, and of course we had to just run around trying to stay dry between cars. The car feels nice. Clutch is nice. So I just ran this up and down the street, made sure everything was good. It's going to require a break-in, but the shifter feels nice. He supplied his own fluid. He brought us some AMSOIL Synchro Mesh manual transmission fluid. But just check this, and it's nice. So this one is done. We'll call this customer. Next, we're going to do Jeff's Integra. I showed you this car before, but let me grab you the keys. I want to show you a little bit more. So I showed you this Integra on a past video, but Jeff bought this and he didn't know what he was going to do. He was talking about buying it and maybe driving it for a little bit and sell it. He kind of does what I do. He enjoys cars, he enjoys playing with them and kind of playing with them and getting them the way he wanted it. There's a dent here. It's all original paint. Faded bumper, it's the plastic faded that it usually has, and faded on the roof right here. But I'd rather see this on original paint than a repaint. And then there is a dent right here, but the car on the inside is spotless, and the engine is too. I'll show you the engine once we get it in here. Let's show you. We're going to be putting a clutch in it, so I'll show you what it looks like in there. But look at this. It's all stock. I'm going to put the seat back. I'm like 2 feet taller than Jeff. So this thing is perfect. Look at the seats. Look at the material right here. It's so nice. 82,000 original miles, all original. Original interior, original floor mats. I mean, even the floor mat is just, it's there, but it's dirty. It's not being painted. It's not being replaced. It's beautiful. Let's pop the hood real quick. I'm not going to start it because I don't want the car to get any hotter than it has to, because we're going to be pulling the engine apart. I'd rather deal with a cold car than a hot car. So look at this. I almost want to give this a wash just because it will really look so nice. Spark plug wires, look at that. They even have the date of 2001, the original spark plug wires right there. Beautiful. So nice. Yeah, I'll tell you more about this if he keeps it or not. He's talking about keeping it. Now he likes it. We'll show you the clutch. We're going to put a factory OEM Honda clutch in it with a Honda Nietzsche bearing. Whoever gets it, we want to make sure the clutch is perfect. But like I say, I have a feeling Jeff might keep this one for a few years. I gotta go ahead and start it because you gotta hear the sound. It's that nostalgic sound. I so love this. I talked about it when we started up Matt's Civic. It has that. First off, you got the Honda beeps and that signature main relay kick with the fuel pump. It's just got that really nice sound. I'm not gonna run it too long, but listen. Sounds like it's got a bit of an exhaust leak. I'll take a look. I think it's got an exhaust leak. Let me go ahead and shut this down. We'll pull the transmission off. I'll show you what it looks like inside. We'll look around. If I do see an exhaust leak, if we have the parts to fix it, we'll go ahead and fix it.
That'll still hold the bead right there? Even though
they're going to machine it right here, so we just welded this. Yeah. Then we'll put it on a lathe and kind of take the shape back, but we welded it on the inside and the outside. Okay. Same over here. So these are for Austin. He's always doing us favors, so I don't know what you're charging for these. I don't know if they're yours, but these are on the house, buddy. We'll send you back and 1,000-mile warranty or your money back, right? So we'll call Austin, he can pick them up. So yeah, if you have a cracked rim,
come to John.
Yeah, just do that. We'll weld it. We can't guarantee it. So I don't know what these are, but they're actually pretty nice looking. They're like almost like a 3-piece. They're not 3-piece,
yeah,
but
not 3-piece.
looks like you could bolt a ring to them. Yeah. But yeah, they'll fix them. We'll put them on a lathe. I don't even think you can get them anymore, so very much so.
Yeah,
all right, transmission is off. It's a little greasy. We're going to check see if the main seal has a leak because it's wet all the inside of here, and it was dripping between the motor and trans a little bit. It's not horrible, but it's something we definitely need to look at. It's a little bit wet up there. It might be coming from the distributor a little bit. I mean, 20-year-old car. That's not bad. So looks like the factory clutch. We'll take that off. I don't think we'll see anything broken like the last one, but I'm pretty sure it'll be wore out. Let's just see how much grease there is around there. Let's take it off. We'll take the flywheel off too. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a main seal leaking. Let's take a look. Alright, so you can see where it's been slipping. It's not the absolute worst. And you see here, there's not a whole lot of material left on there. But that's going to require a surface let's take that off and we'll see what we see behind it. All right, so that confirms that. Not only is it leaking, it's an aftermarket seal. Whatever that says, national, never heard of that. Well, it needs an OEM seal. We're gonna go look, see if we have one. You see where it's got some damage there where somebody's put it in, hammered around this a little bit, just slipped, bashing it in there. But that's probably contributing towards the clutch slipping too. It looks like the views Loctite on the flywheel bolts. So there's a few telltale signs that had been taken apart. It looked decent. Didn't see anything really that wrong, apart from the bolts were really over tightened. But we're gonna take care of that before we put in the new clutch.
It's probably a Felpro unit being orange like that, but also being a Honda shop that's been open since 1996 means you still have B series parts in stock. So here is a rear main seal for a B series, ready to go. It's definitely not from 1996, but remember we used to build a lot of these B series engines, so there's that. I'm gonna get that put in the car and then no more leak. There's the new Honda seal in there, looking good. Everything's wiped off, everything's dry, and now it will stay that way. So now we'll get the flywheel on, clutch on, get ready to get the transmission back in.
All right, so here is our Honda pressure plate. Here's a funny story. I'm just gonna block out some of the address. I accidentally shipped this to California because it was in the same package or the same stack as the S2000 pressure plates, and I didn't realize the box is a little bit smaller. It's got a little bit of a label on there, but it was in the same pile, and I shipped it to a customer. He pulled out the box and said, this doesn't look like an S2000 pressure plate, and it's not. So when it came back, we wrote all over it the OEM so we don't mess it up. So it's had a trip to California and back, so it's got about, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it without even being installed in the car.
It's broken in.
It's broken in, so Jeff, once you get it, just rip on it. There is our new bearing. You've seen it on the B series. It's funny, we use so many S2000s. This 2000 bearing goes behind the pressure plate like this, because it's a pull style bearing. It pulls this way, and of course you know how a B series works. Like almost every other Honda on the planet, it's a push style, so it pushes on here. So still running the good quality stuff. What are you doing right now?
I'll wipe it down.
Exfoliation on it. Oh, I've got a light here. I just realized, what do you do with the disc? I saw you walking around with it.
I took it. It's on the transfer or on the motor already.
Oh, okay. Well, the disc is right here. So disc, flywheel is back together. Seal, did you film the seal?
Yep.
See how we communicate here? Good stuff. Seal is done. We're going to wipe off some of this excess oil. Hopefully that is the issue. If we have oil at this side, there is a main seal at this end, which is behind that crank pulley back there in the water pump, and the behind the plastic cover in front of the oil pump. I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen a B series for a while. Just getting my bearings again, figuring out where it all goes. So I just wanted to show you this. This is on the inside of the transmission. This is your release bearing. This is the part that when you're pressing on your clutch, you're actually moving this right here. You see this is pushing against our pressure plate. Well, unfortunately on a B series, D series, K series, almost everything again except an S2000.
Even a hay series.
A hay series? Everybody's phone is going to go off. This is where your release bearing is sliding on here. This is when you don't use the correct grease. It gets sticky. And when you press your clutch, that is what is happening. And what is brilliant on the S2000s, and I used to think about this back then before the S2000 even came out, we would work on these, and what happens is you get a ridge on here where that bearing rides. Even though this bearing has like a plastic nylon sleeve, it will grind into this aluminum, and then when you put a new bearing on there, you've got this step. So when you press the clutch, you sometimes feel that click. There's a like a rough spot, an easy spot, and there's a thing, like a feeling in the pedal. And it would be often this right here. This one doesn't have much at all. Well, of course, you would do all kinds of tricks on this. You would sand it, clean it, you know, hit some Scotch-Brite on it, even use a sanding block and try and get this as slick as you can. And obviously the S2000 has the slide that we call it that goes over here. It bolts on with 3 pieces, and it's steel, so it's a harder material, but it's replaceable. And what sucks is these are not. And I used to always say back in the day, if we could find someone that made a really thin sleeve that you could press on over here and buy a bearing that the next size up, almost like boring out a piston by putting a larger piece on here, you could save these because over time, when this gets damaged, you can imagine there's not really a whole lot you can do there. So luckily this one is nice. It's still got the grease on there. This at least isn't dry like the last couple that we've worked on. The bearing is loose. It's not falling apart or anything. It does say made in Japan, so it's a good bearing right there. It hasn't fallen apart, it's just loose. A little bit of noise will come out of there. So I'm going to show you one of my pet peeves, and if you see this, you'll either get it, or after I show you this, then you're going to get it. So first off, you get your split pin or your Cotter pin. We just call these split pins in England. Obviously it's got a split in it, it looks like a pin. So what you do is you get the longest one you can, the longer the better. So when you put it through here, through your castle nut, the more sticking out the better, right? So this needs to stick out, and what you want to do is use both of them and bend them together like this and leave it sticking out so it's sharp like that. You see how nice that looks? I hate that. Just I just used to see it so much, and people do it, and again, it's like you either notice it or you don't, or they bend them both to the side like this, you know, so it does this. Anybody like that? Anybody see that? Anybody do that? Is anybody gonna admit it?
I wonder if there's something out there with it. I don't know if you did this way or whatnot, but I forever ago asked someone when I was working on something with them and said, how do you do your cotter pins?
Okay.
The guy said, do the cotter pin the way you do it. That way, in case it needs to come back apart or something happens, we know who did it, because that's the way you do cotter pins.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody,
No.
but if you bend, like I bend one that way and I'll go like the other one up.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll make sure it kind of follows the nut, so it's not like a sharp edge sticking out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first off, if it's too long, if you haven't got the right size, cut it down. Let me pull this out real quick and I'll show you. Cut it down. It's super easy. All right, see this right here? I'm going to try and do this through the camera. I can't really see it. But what you're going to do is cut this down so it comes through your nut about 1/2 inch. So you're going to cut them both together. Use some sharp wire cutters, side cutters, whatever you call them. And then what you're going to do is, so you can actually get a hold of it, is cut the one leg down about 1/4 inch. Let me move it here. I can't see what I'm doing. That light is so bright. So now it looks like a cotter pin again, right? Or a split pin, whatever you guys call them. So now it looks more like a regular one, but shorter. All right, so that's one of the ways I like it right there. It's pretty simple, but you see how it goes up the nut right there? You got one up, one down.
This is a family channel, John.
That's right. Okay, so go ahead and vote. Which one do you like, the first one or the second one? Keep in mind, it is a family channel. We want you guys to watch with your kids. That's one of the reasons we don't say anything rude or mean, because we want to teach you to have family time and learn to do this with your kids. All right, so this is pretty much done. We just got one bolt to snug underneath, and we ran out of transmission fluid. We did a car today and used the last of it, so we can't finish it until tomorrow. It is now 8:41, so we're gonna go home. It's been a overtime day because we're trying to keep current with our builds, trying to keep customers happy. So we'll do this first thing in the morning. We'll call Honda, get the transmission fluid, and put it back together and test it. We just have this plastic cover to put back on here, and one lower motor mount bolt, just a torque, and we're good. All right, everything is done, just waiting for the fluid. So this one we'll call done, and we will see you. I'll finish the video in the morning, so we'll see you in a second. We'll put fluid in this, start it, drive it, make sure it's happy. All right guys, next day. It looks nice and sunny. Look at that blue sky. We've got the shiny thing in the sky. The Integra sitting over there. We're waiting for the fluid to come from Honda. But look at the temperature. Crazy. 54 degrees 2 days ago. It was 80. So it's actually higher than that. It was 82. So this is a customer of ours that we've done work for in the past. It's here for something fairly simple. Last time it was here, the back brake kept hanging up. You would let off the clutch and the car wouldn't move. You couldn't move it at all. It was just locking up on here. You can see how that rotor is a little blue. It doesn't look to be damaged, but it is really shiny. So it's been kind of highly polished from dragging and getting a little hot. So we're having to replace this caliper. We have a used caliper off a really low mileage S2000 that we saved. All right, let's take it for a test drive. A little noisy in here, guys. Got a lot going on today. So I just double checked the adjustment on the clutch, and it's right about halfway up, right about here. We're moving. So let's take it for a quick test drive. Do like the initial break-in, which every clutch requires a break-in. This is obviously an OEM organic, so it doesn't take as much to break in as, let's say, an aftermarket clutch. Because of the material, aftermarket clutches tend to have a harder material, which just takes longer to break in, so you should really do more than what they suggest. So seriously, a couple hundred miles, it'll be broken. I won't go beating on it crazy, but for the most part, it'll be good. This thing is so nice. Let me put the window up so you can really get a feel for this thing. I mean, it is so nice to drive. You forget actually how good the older factory Japanese cars are. I mean, they're not very fast. The clutch is super sweet. Very, very light pedal pressure. And again, that's what we all want, even though we pretend we want a clutch that's so hard to press down. We need to be a He-Man to drive the car, but realistically, that gets old quick, especially if you get stuck in traffic. You start envying the automatic guys around you because they don't have to deal with that clutch. But this is so nice. I mean, it's very, very light pedal pressure, engages nice. So let me go up to the Circle K, make a U-E. So we'll pull in here real quick, make a U-turn, and the Circle K. Now, word of advice, if you're in the Circle K, anytime between about 4 and 6, if you want to come out of that entrance I was just in and make a left turn, it's absolutely impossible. It cannot be done. There is people actually slept in their cars trying to get out of here, making a left turn. So don't try it. Pull out of here and go right, or at the other entrance. But making a left here, it's impossible. You will not get that way. No one will let you out. Everyone has been under the impression that you're not supposed to come out of there, so they make it hard. All right, back to normal driving. So it just drives as nice as can be. It's going to require a break-in, but it already feels good. It engages nice, halfway up on the travel. Nice pedal travel, light pedal pressure. This one's good. We'll call our good friend Jeff, say come and pick it up, or more than likely I'll have to go and pick him up and get him to bring me back. There's Bruce. Don't know if he's coming to us or not. I think he would make him like one of the famous UPS guys, because so many people know him now. It's so funny. He'll come by the shop and customers know him, and now he's used to it. He doesn't say, how do you know me? He knows it now. All right, we're back. You gotta drive it. This thing is so nice.
Yeah.
Jeff will be cool with it. But just, it's unbelievable how nice these cars are.
It's been a while since I've been in a stock car.
It really is, and you forget. I mean, obviously, I think we improve them by making them brake and handle and accelerate better. But it's surprising how good they are.
And you can't do just one because this is made to have so much horsepower.
Yeah, it really is. But just the LS is, you know, it's obviously torquier than a GSR. It does rev.
Yeah.
But it's just torquier. You don't need to rev it. It just works.
And it just feels tiny inside too.
It does. Remember when these used to be a big car? Back
Yeah.
when I had a CRX, I used to look at an Integra and go, wow, that's kind of big. I don't know if I'd be feeling comfortable in a big car. And then you used to look at the Prelude. That was huge. The Prelude was like a Cadillac. Now you look at a Prelude, it's little.
Yeah,
The Prelude.
Getting into that every day?
Yeah.
That thing's massive.
And this is lowered, and it's still a lot higher than the Integra. Let me go around the front. But you also get used to the room, and then you want it. I mean, look at that. This car is lowered quite a bit. And I mean, as much as I love the Integra, it also shows how they start to date. Obviously the front end, I'm a partial fan of the Japanese front end. I think it really modernizes the car. I think this looks kind of dated. I thought it looked kind of old when it first came out in '94. But it's just, it's a classic, so I like it for its classic reasons. Does that make sense? Brake in the clutch, George. Don't do anything silly.
I'll get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, if you wipe out the clutch, you're coming back and changing it.
I'll see you in a few hours.
All right, see you tomorrow. Look how beautiful that car is. So I'm gonna call Jeff right now and see what he wants to do. So we'll do it the old-fashioned way.
Calling Jeff Cell.
Or not the old-fashioned way, the modern way. Because I'm too lazy to type in the numbers. That's not what I sent out yesterday, is it? Let me put him on speaker. Cool. I just sent one out yesterday. I'm like, oh, it looked just like this, so hopefully it didn't come back. It's that stupid head again. It keeps making his rounds. All right, just the one?
It's the one.
All right, buddy. Isn't it unbelievable?
It is.
Yeah, it's just a... I want to make him modify it, but I don't at the same time.
The last one that I drove that was close to stock was my white one.
Yeah.
Before we did the engine build, but that was 8 years ago.
Yeah. And it was a GSR, it wasn't an LS.
Yeah.
The LS is just kind of, it's just torquier without revving them out. It's nice. All right, he's going to be up at 2, so you know what? I think we'll go do our Sam's run. Let's go get some supplies, get our lunch, and we'll be back at it. All right, we've got Jeff picking up the beauty.
All right.
I want to see what you think about that clutch. First, I'll feel it.
OEM fresh.
Does that not feel beautiful?
There we go. Ready for some daily driving.
You might have to move your seat. I'm like 9 feet tall. You won't be able to push the clutch all the way down. Clutch is pretty light though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You feel it?
It's perfect.
All right, break it in. No burnouts.
All right, we'll see you soon.
That's awesome. This is a beautiful car, Jeff. I really like it. I'll let you know, George drove it too. I was like, George, you gotta drive this car because it's so nice. It really is. It's like a brand new Integra. All right, let's see if he can stall it. You think he's gonna stall it, George?
Probably not.
No, he knows how to drive.
Take all these drives,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, if we had 50,000 people watching him and cheering, he'd probably stall it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit the subscribe and the like, and we'll see you on the next videos. And more importantly, enjoy your cars.